Hello everybody. Got to get the batteries still for my little clicker, so got the little entrance again. Tonight's table talk, I wanted to, there's a few things that I wanted to go over. Number one, I wanted to talk about 2023 in review, and looking forward to 2024, which in that heading, I wanted to talk about my rebranding, my what's coming up with my handbag business, and then I also wanted to talk a little bit about YouTube, my YouTube page, and then I also wanted to go into what I refer to as my first love in sewing, which is making quilts. That's what I got started doing when I made when I started sewing. Gosh, it's been I have to think how many years ago. I need to think on that, but show you some of the things, some of the quilts that I have done. One or two of my early quilts. I think I have one here that I first made, and then just kind of go into that a little bit. So this episode might be a little bit long, but that's because I wanted to talk about my quilts and let you know some of the things that I do. So starting out with 2023 in review, of course, that's when I decided to start selling the bags. More so than I mean, I would make one and sell it here and there when I was making my bags. As I got more comfortable with my bag making and made more, I decided I wanted to share my bags because I love making bags for people. Can't always give them away because, of course, it costs money to make the bags. And while it's great to start, handing bags out and giving them to people, I want to make it reachable for everybody, and as well as sell them just so they can get out to others. So again, we started that. So with the starting of deciding to sell that, that's when I opted to do my YouTube channel. Basically, my thought process when I wanted to do my YouTube channel, which I have mentioned previously, was so you could see the bags in detail. While I don't have a website and I can't really show the bags a lot, and even with the website, you can see a picture. They'll take the pictures of what it looks like on the outside, the inside, and things like that. What I'd like to do with my YouTube channel, when I started it, was I wanted to just show the bags in detail, not really live, but more of just a picture of the inside or outside. Just kind of go into details with the bag. And I just think it's a great showing of the bags. With that being said, in 2020, moving into 2024, I have mentioned before, I want to expound on the YouTube page. Quite honestly, me being on this camera and putting it out there for anybody to see, it was very hard for me to do because I'm a person that don't even like their picture taken. I still don't even like my picture taken, but yet I'll get on here and make a video for anybody to see. So I don't understand that, but I do like it a lot more than I really thought I would. So I'd like to expound on that. So look for some changes and some updates with my YouTube page. Now, in going forward in 2024, I am trying to expand on the business this year. So I am looking to do some craft shows. I'm still doing some research. No set anything yet on craft shows, because if I do, it probably won't be till spring or summer till I get a chance to get enough stock up to where I could have a nicely filled booth in a craft show. So look forward to hearing anything on that, and me making any kind of mention of craft shows. So I'm researching that and looking into that. Now, if anybody has a craft show, that knows of a craft show that I could go to that you think would be great, that happens to be, in the greater Cincinnati area, let me know. Just give me a, let me know where it's at and when it's going to be, and I can do the research to see if that's something that I can work into my schedule. Because again, I want to do some craft shows, expand out my business, and, you know, let everybody, you know, have options to see everything. With that, and then I'll be making more smaller items, like some more pouches and things like that, that will be available at craft shows. Also, I had mentioned in my rebranding, so I want to let you know what my new name is going to be. When I chose the Handbags and More by Tony, I thought, could not come up with anything. There was one thing that I couldn't get out of my mind. It's always, that's what my email is for this business, is the email that I use. It's my Instagram name, and I couldn't really want to think about tying it into making bags and things, but I couldn't get away from it. And it's really the thing that I love to do. It's the name, and it's called Quilted Cactus. So you will start seeing my YouTube page effective immediately. Actually, it'll be that way when this video is posted. It's going to be called Quilted Cactus. That's two things that I love, is my quilts. And I love, anybody that knows me at all, I love the West. I love Arizona. I love Southern Arizona the most. I love the saguaro cactus. Anything cactus, I love. So, and that's kind of where I came up with the word, with the Quilted Cactus. So that will be my new name with the business. So it's going to be changed to that. And also I am working on a logo. So, once that gets finalized, you'll see a logo. And with that also, I am working on getting a website set up. My daughter, Cassie, is helping me a lot in the past couple weeks to try to get this done. So I really appreciate her work into this, because of course I have no money to pay her, so she's doing this all voluntarily, and I greatly appreciate it. So those are some of the things that I'm working on and coming up with. So be on the lookout for that. I am, in the meantime, with all of that, still making bags. I still have bags that I have made that hasn't been posted. So look forward to some upcoming videos of some new bags that I have made. I'm going to try to get a couple made this weekend, and hopefully get some things posted, possibly Sunday night, Monday and or Tuesday night posted. So I'd love to do that, because I've got some great bags that you should see. I also have some of the stuff that I've previously posted is still available. I have sold some of my earlier bags. However, if anyone has seen those and still thinks that they might want one, reach out to me, because I can always make a bag. I don't know if I can make one exactly the way that I had previously made it, depending on the availability of the fabrics. And my faux leathers, I still have those. I can still get those. But like linings and things like that, when I use cotton, those people release lines of fabric. They are out there for so long, and then they usually discontinue them. So lines of fabric aren't always available, unless I just happen to have some, or find somebody that might have leftovers. So that's with as far as bags and availability. But please let me know if there's anything that you still want. Anything that's not sold as of the time my website's posting, that will be up on the website, and it'll be shown individually, as far as the bags or anything that's left over by the time we get the website set up. And I also wanted to mention, with my YouTube page, I have 56 subscribers. I know I don't have 1 million like some of the big YouTubers. I don't, not that I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know, that'll never happen. However, I appreciate anyone and everyone that has subscribed to my page. It's much appreciated. I do see that there are some of my watchers, they may not necessarily subscribe, but some people that have seen my videos are coming from suggested videos. So I'm glad that I am popping up somewhere, and suggested videos. What helps that is people liking my YouTube page, any videos, if you like it. That helps get my website out there, my YouTube page, I should say, out there into like to suggestions. And that will get my name out there a little more so people can see what I have. Okay, enough on all of that. What I wanted to do was talk a little about my quilts. My sewing started when I was younger. I did a little bit sewing here and there. Of course, back in the 70s, we took home ec. That was the thing. Couldn't sew a straight line. I had I think it was 8th grade, Mrs. Siegel. I got a C for my little pillow that I made, and it was pre-lined. It was like the checker print, and it was, I didn't have to sew anything together. Basically, all I had to do was show the straight lines to make it look like it was quilted. That didn't work out real well. But anyways, so we had, and that was, you know, a lot of my sewing. My mother-in-law, she always hand sewed. When for his first marriage, and I would sit at the house with her, she would always hand sew stuff. And there were a few times that I got things I got into, and I did a lot of hand sewing. And then pump it up, I don't know how many years later, probably 20 some odd years later, I like most, I shouldn't say like most people, but a lot of people also that love purses. I mean, I would buy purses here and there, all kinds of purses. But I always kept trying to come up with something in my head. This was like before I even started making quilts, I would try to make my own purse. And I did it by hand. I've since cut it up and used the fabric for some other things. But I did it I hand sewed it. And then I'm thinking, you know, I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, but I tried to do something like that. That kind of got put aside. But for some reason, when my parents had their 50th anniversary, and this would have been, let me think, 12, 13 years ago, would have been their anniversary, I think. While I'm talking, I'll figure it out. I just can't find my calculator on my laptop. Something like that. I want to say 12, not 12, 20. Oh my gosh, I can't even think. 60, 70, 80, 90. I think they would have been, maybe it's been almost 15 years ago. But anyways, for some strange reason, and I hadn't even really, like I said, all I did was try to do the hand sew that purse, and that was maybe a year or so prior to that. I got something in my head that I wanted to make them a quilt. Well, what it was is I wanted to make them something special. I wanted to do something special for them for their 50th. So then I thought, well, I'm going to make them something. Well, I didn't know what to make. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll make them a quilt. Mind you, I've never made a quilt except in my life up to that point. All I made was my little pillow in 8th grade home ec that I got a C on because I couldn't sew a straight line. And then I tried to hand sew some things. I had hand sewn some things. And then I bought this magazine, one of the quilting magazines, and they showed it's called like a brick quilt, I think is what it was called. Basically, it was rectangle shaped blocks of fabric, and then you would sew them and stagger them just like you're building a wall, a brick wall. I'm like, well, that nice, what nice. So I went and bought, you know, a bunch of what they call fat quarters, which is 18 by 22, 21, 22 inch blocks, and then just cut them up and made it. It was supposed to be a lap size quilt. It turned out to be a monster. I think it's more than a queen size quilt. I don't know how I ended up doing it, but anyways, so I sewed that together, and I had an old sewing machine Mom had given us. Actually, she'd given it to my daughter at one point when they moved. I got that thing out. It's a 50s Singer, so it's like the bobbin was. I hated that bobbin. I didn't care for the sewing machine. But I made it. I used it. And then as I did a little more sewing, I graduated to a little sewing machine that my husband bought me at Walmart. I think he paid 70, 80 bucks, something like that. So that's kind of where I got started. Anyways, so with my quilts. And then it graduated to, I want to make something else. So I had gotten into, so now I make large quilts, small quilts. I make table runners, wall hangings. I've even made a couple, I even made a little quilt block pillow, and things like that. So with all that being said, then like I said, and then back to the bag making, I've made some bags here and there in between quilts. And that was, and then I got to making more and more bags. I started watching some YouTube videos of some other bag makers and seen and watched them. And then I have gone into the passion of loving making the handbags. I still make my quilts, not as much as I want to, because of time, a lot usually. But I have tons of, quilt, quilt, I don't even know what I want to say. But anyways, tons of quilt kits, wow, that I have that I'm going to try to work on some. I also do a lot of, make a lot of, okay, and with quilts, when I make quilts, I love piecing quilts. I do not like quilting a quilt. I mean, a lot of people will quilt quilts on what we refer to as a domestic sewing machine. Basically, it's just your standard regular sewing machine. People will put these large quilts in these things and do beautiful quilting. A lot of people, when they think of quilting, they have what they call long arm machines. It's the large machines. Some are computerized, some are not. All kinds of difference of those machines. Those are very expensive machines. That's why a lot of people learn to do it on their sewing machine so they can do it themselves. Because when you send it out to have it quilted, it costs a few bucks. And of course, as it is now, the price has gone up. So I kind of pick and choose quilts that I want to send out to be quilted. So I have a lot of quilt tops that are unfinished, which like this one here, I made this quilt. I don't even know how long ago that I made this quilt top. It is not quilted. I'm going to kind of show it so you can see the back. So it's not even quilted. It's still just the quilt top. This is like the back of the quilt. I will get this quilted someday and finish it. But in the meantime, it's gorgeous backdrop and it's a beautiful quilt to pull out every now and again. I actually, when I started quilting and making quilt tops, doing the piecing, I used to follow, I never was on YouTube. When YouTube started, I could not find it. I would always comment what's the use of YouTube? Well, that's one of the, how I learned to sew a lot of my quilts. I started with watching Jenny Doan from Missouri Star Quilt Company. She has great YouTube videos. At the time I started watching, she put one out here and there. Now she puts one out every Friday with her daughter and daughter-in-law. So she has great YouTube. Anybody's ever interested in sewing, you can watch her because she does great quilting, piecing, showing you how to piece. You know, it's good. It's great watching her. And this is from one of her early videos, and I think it's called the Quatrefoil quilt. And then when she made it, it was one of those quilts that she made it. I seen the fabric, and it was like, oh, I needed, had to have that because I love the purples and the greens. That was beautiful. And then the border is the lady who designed the fabric line. Sometimes they'll design a fabric line that you can use for borders like this because it's got the real pretty flowers and you can make it flow around the quilt, which is beautiful. And I have the backing. I have a special backing that I'm going to make that I haven't for the back of this quilt. So anyways, so this is one of my earlier quilts. I'm going to show you a couple of quilts, and I will have to probably stand on my little bench back here just to show you the quilts. I will show you this one first. Well, actually, you've seen that, but I will show you this one as far as my stack of quilts that I have here on my chair. My chair gets kind of heavy because I've got a lot of these quilts, but this is one of the ones that I just finished. This is a gift for someone. She's not on YouTube, but it's a gift to someone. And this one I did send out to be quilted because it's a gift, and again, like, I don't quilt. I'll straight line, but I won't do anything fancy. But the back of the quilting is like, it's supposed to be like a waves. It's kind of like a wave on this quilt with the movement. So, and that's the purpose of this quilt. This particular quilt, it's called Sea Swept. Cannot think of the designer of the quilt, but it's found it in a magazine. It was one of those things I found it. I thought it was really neat, and I saved it because the way it's designed, it's supposed to be mimicking the sea waves. And I make sure I got this the right direction. And I think I have this upside down. But anyway, so this one, I might have it upside down. It's the way the blocks are supposed to move to make it look like it's moved. So let me get on my bench here, and then I can show you a lot better. Give me a second. My knees give out on me here. So anyways, so this is my Sea Swept quilt. I think I'm trying to look at it through the camera. I might have it upside down. But this is to mimic movements of the seas. This particular quilt was called paper piecing, which I sewed every little block to a piece of paper to make it. And then you just go around and around. Then I had to tear all my little pieces of paper out and then sew it all together. But I love this quilt. It's beautiful. It's bright. And I hope who I made it for, it cheers her up. It makes her feel better. So this is for somebody special. But anyway, so that is my Sea Swept. This one I just finished. I just made, and I'm going to give it to, well, I have to give it to, it's actually for my pastor's wife. So I'm going to give that to them Sunday. Well, actually, I'll have to give it to him, and he'll have to bring it to her. So that'll be delivered Sunday. This one isn't one I made a while back. This is just the quilt top. No, it's not finished. It's still got a unfinished back. Don't remember the name of it, but obviously this is my fall quilt. I like to pull this out, even though it's not finished. I still kind of put it on my little quilt rack upstairs because I still think it's pretty, and just as it is. So that one here, and I think I found this in a magazine, pretty sure. So this is one of my fall quilts. And then let's go ahead and move to Christmas. Again, I show this to you simply because so you can see some of the things that I can do and opportunities. This one, I did recently finish this early last year. Maybe around summer. I think I finished it this summer, late summer. Didn't get a chance to get it sent out quilted because I ended up making the other one, and I wanted to spend my money on the quilting for the Sea Swept quilt. So I held on to this one right now. But I will get this hopefully quilted this year, so I can have it on my bed by Christmas, because I would love to have this out on my bed. And yeah, there we go. This one is called, it's my Christmas quilt. Little pine trees with the little kind of peppermint looking swirls. I love this. And then it's got a checkered, one of the borders is a little checker, and then that's what I'm going to do for the binding that goes around once it gets quilted. It's going to be checkered. I don't remember what I have picked for the back of this one. But I probably don't even have it yet, to be truth be told. I probably have to go looking through and see if I have it. So that is my Christmas quilt, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. Evergreen Christmas by Maple Cottage Design, and the Shannon Bowie is the designer of that particular quilt. There's some smaller thing here. This is just a little wall hanging, just to kind of show you some of the wall hangings that I do. It's just a real cute, some blocks that are turned a little bit. Just a cute little wall hanging for like spring or something, to brighten up a wall. This was designed, I think I got this from the pattern from, it's Primrose Cottage. Lindsay, I can't think of her last name off the top of my head, but she does a lot of, she has her little online fabric store, but she does a lot of wall hangings, table runners, things like that. And I have a couple more of hers that I tend to buy a lot of her little quilt kits, little quilt table runner kits that she does. She does like a free pattern Friday, and then if you want to, you have the option of buying her kit to go with that. It's always pretty good deals. So this is something, this particular one I'm getting ready to show you. I can't remember, one of the fabric designers puts out, when they come out with lines of fabric, they'll put out like free quilts patterns. This is one of them. I cannot remember the name of this quilt, but I thought it was really, really pretty. It does have, it's got like a hexagon applique on there, and I'm not a huge applique fan, but for this, I thought it would be, because I love the quilt and the way it was, that it looked, and the colors that I made to do it. This is with the white background, and I love this quilt. Oh, look at that. Big reveal. I had it sideways. But anyways, and I don't edit my videos yet, so you get everything, mistakes, bloopers, it's all in one. But anyways, so I got this quilt. I love it. It's beautiful. It's bright. It's springy summer. This quilt, it is actually quilted, and almost finished. I've never put the binding on it. The binding is going to be a black with a cup sprinkled in with a couple of these colors going around it, where every now and again you'd see my local sprig of color. So this one is, again, can't remember the name of it, but these hexagons are appliqued on. Made little hexagon paper piece, little hexagons, and then sewed those on. And then these little things here, the little black things, those are sewn on as well, like with applique. And that goes all around the quilt. So then I had this bright idea when I made this quilt. I thought to myself, what would this quilt look like with a black background? Well, I obviously didn't want to make another huge quilt, but I also wanted to make a black background just to kind of see, because I thought it would be just neat to see what it looked like in the reverse. So what I did is I looked at the quilt, resized it a little bit, decided how to make it. So I made this nice small little quilt. Sorry, my bench that I'm standing on is not flat, so I keep rocking on it. But anyway, so I decided to make it in black. I thought it would be really neat to see what it looked like, so I changed and I made it to 3 flowers along the top and sides instead of the 4, and then I just shortened my little 4 square blocks here. I just made a lesser number, obviously, to make it just a small little quilt. And I thought that would be really cute, so I just thought I wanted to show you that I made it in black as well. And this was something that I just decided to do from that pattern. And then both of them are the back of the quilting. I had this done as quilted because this quilt I really, really liked. But they're all done. They're both done a little bit different. This one is just flowers that mimic the little hexagon flowers. And then I did it, the quilting itself, it's black, so it would not compete with the patterning here on the front. But I thought it also, because I wanted to pick something, a backing of the quilt that was real bright too. So I got this apricot, and then with that you can see the flowers on the back of it. So you can see that, and I thought that was real pretty. The other one, it's like a squirrel with sort of, could look like a butterfly on the back, and it's white. So you could see the design because the design is dense, but on the front it doesn't compete with the white on the front. So that's that. And the ladies, and also where I get my quilts quilted at, I get it done a homegrown, home sewn on Springdale. The ladies there are great. They help me out a lot with colors and designs, because sometimes I get in there in my mind, I just can't think of what colors, because of course you've got lots of choices. It's like trying to design a bag. You sit there and stare. It's actually harder to try to pick out a design and a thread to quilt a quilt than to try to pick out colors to make a quilt and or a bag. I don't know why, but it is harder for me. And that's probably another reason why I don't quilt quilts. But also, I thought I'd point out with this particular quilt, I did a multicolor binding on it. So I just picked leftover pieces from my quilt and then just sewn them together and made a real collar. And they're all different lengths. So you've got maybe a longer collar here, a shorter there, a little white, and then it gets long and short again. So anyway, enough of that. Now this is one of my early quilts. I don't know how long ago I made this. It's been quite a few years ago. I had bought a pack of fabric that I love the colors because, again, I love the Arizona and the sun and everything. So I thought I'd make a quilt to try to make me think of the sun, Arizona. Well, I could never come up with anything, and I bought the fabric, and I ended up doing what they call a coin. It's like a coin quilt, because the way you sew them together, but they're just longer strips. So, because I love the fabric so much, that's what I did. I had to use it in something. Now, I don't love this quilt because it is, it's because I've got a ginormous binding up here, or not binding, a ginormous border up here. I don't love it. Plus, I didn't send this out to be quilted. This is something I did myself, which was straight line, and I only straight lined down here at the bottom where the different rows of fabric are, because, well, yeah, I already said it. But anyway, so it's not great, and I did it this way because this was what's supposed to go over the pillows, and then I'd have pillows on top so this wouldn't show. That was my idea when I made this quilt. So this was all in my head. This all came out of my head. And again, this is one of my early quilts, so it's just pretty much rows together with the yellow in it. And it's bright, but I couldn't come up with anything else, another color when I made this. So then for some reason, and I don't even remember doing this, I had another line of fabric that I liked because of the colors, and I got this crazy notion to make the back of my quilt all of these different colors of blocks sewn together. I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason to these blocks or a pattern. I don't think there was. I think my idea was just to make it random. So that's the back of this quilt. So I don't know, maybe you can use it reversible. I don't know. Actually, this quilt just kind of is stored right now because, like I said, it's not my greatest, but I obviously won't get rid of it. But I do still like it because, again, I made it to mimic my love of the Southwest. And I'll say enough of that. We're getting down to the last two, so anybody who's still with me, I appreciate it. I know this could be boring, very boring to a lot of people. My next to the last quilt, now these are some more of my recent quilts. They did take me a little while to sew because my attention span sometimes. I'll sew on it for a while and then I have to go move on to something else. So I will have, like I have multiple bags that I work on. I'll do the same thing with quilts or my piecing of quilts. But this one, I had posted pictures of this on Facebook several years ago. So if anybody who's new or hasn't seen it, or anybody that's seen it already, sorry for repeat, but this is one that I made for my bed. It's called Cottage Blossom. This is the name of the quilt's Cottage Blossom, and it's one of the free patterns that I got, I think, from Robert Kaufman website. Yeah, Robert Kaufman's website. I remembered this one, so I wrote it down, so because I remembered some of the stuff. But it's just basically like just flowers, different shapes, but they're to mimic like flowers in a block, setting. So I thought this was really pretty. The fabric line is Brenda Riddle. I love her fabrics. I have lots of collections of her fabrics. I just did a neutral back on it as to a gray. I thought I didn't want to go too crazy with the back since it was kind of a floral print, and it wasn't, you know, and it had gray in it. So I kind of kept the back a little neutral, so it wasn't so loud in the back. And this particular quilt, since it lays on the bed, it's not really shown anyways. So that was that quilt. Now for my grand finale, this quilt here, I absolutely love. This was a quilt I had seen in a magazine. As you can see, it's got stars on the back. It's the back of it. And it was one of those quilts that I seen in the magazine. I absolutely fell in love with it. I bought the magazine. I had it sitting. And I just kept looking at it and kept looking at it. And I kept telling myself, do I want to make this quilt? Do I want to make this quilt? And then I'd sit down and thinking to myself, well, if I made it, it would have to look exactly like the magazine. That was in my head, and I knew I wouldn't like it in any other way. So then I went searching where I could get all of the fabrics exactly like the magazine showed. Got all the fabrics, figured it all out, totaled up how much it was going to cost. I'm like, oh my gosh. Then that to think about what I spent on it then, because I couldn't order like, you had to order, I think the minimum was like half a yard. So I had to overbuy fabric. So I spent a lot. I was like, sat there and thought about it. Well, then it was bonus time at work. So I decided, well, I'll use my a little bit of, just a tad bit, I mean. So anyway, so it was bonus time at work, so I'm thinking, I'm doing it. I pulled the trigger, bought the fabric. It did take me probably a year and a half to get it all pieced together, because I already said I have that short attention span. But anyways, so in the meantime, while I was making the quilt, the ladies who designed the fabric in the front, that I got the fabric, that designed the fabric, comes out with these gorgeous stars fabric. They've got it in red. I think they got it white with blue stars. It's beautiful, and I thought that I had to have it because of the quilt itself. This also has been on Facebook when I first got it. I had it quilted as well. I went and spent the money on that, and then the quilting, it's like a star pattern, swirls with a star in it. But this is what I like to keep on my bed during the summertime, because it's patriotic looking. So the grand finale is this beautiful, gorgeous quilt. Can't pick it up. It's big. It's a queen size quilt, and it's got the diagonal, like up stars down the thing, and then the very center of the quilt is that's the very center of the quilt. So it's beautiful when you set it on your bed. It'll go, you know, like that around the bed, and then you got it right in the center of the bed. You got that gorgeous center of the bed. I absolutely love this quilt. Like I said, this took me probably about a year and a half to make. Not because of the complication. It's just that I get going, then I have to stop and start something else. They didn't diagnose ADD. I don't know. I'm sure I probably have some form of it. But they didn't diagnose things like that when I was a kid. So I just got in trouble a lot. That's cool for not paying attention. Anyways, so those are my quilts. That's the final. I've got a couple small ones, like a table runner that I made. Give me a second here. Let me get down. My knees don't give out on me. There we go. A couple small. Here, I'll show you this little table runner. Here's a little table runner that I made. This is Primrose Cottage. It's really cute. I have a cute Christmas one to sit down. I like these. They're nice and small and cute to set like on a coffee table. So, and I love this. It's fabric lines, Sandy Gervais. She's got some great fabric lines. It's really, really cute. Got like pumpkins in that to make, and it looks like a pumpkin with a little star in the middle. But anyway, so that is some of my quilts that I've made, that I've done. And to let you know that I do make the quilts and the table runners. There may be a time where I actually may post something on my website when I get my website up. If there's a quilt out to make, I'll probably maybe post a quilt if I'm going to sell one. But it'll mainly, my website will mainly be purses, bags, tote bags, things of that nature. I'll have, also we'll put on there zipper pouches, small things, as I get them made, and maybe get a grouping of them made where there's more than one of like smaller things like pouches and such to choose from. Again, reach out to me if there's anything that you want. Thank you so much if you're still watching. I appreciate it. Please like this video. It helps get it out there to everybody else. Subscribe. Again, like I say, I'm up to 56. So appreciate each and every person that is subscribed to my channel. Hit your notification bell. If you are, you know, coming out with anything new, again, like I said, I've got purses that are made. Some are real nice handbags. I've got a couple of smaller bags that I'm going to post. So, you know, you never know when I'm going to post something that you might see, that you might like. Again, you may see it and you like the bag itself, but you might want it a different color. Reach out to me. Let me know. I can always look to see if I've got something that comparable to what you want if you're looking for a different color of a bag. If you're looking for a bag and you've got an idea of a bag, and I can look at it and see if I've got a pattern that matches it close to it, we can definitely go through that. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for spending the time with me. And again, I will have new videos coming out within the next few days. I'm going to get some made this weekend to for some bags that I have already made. You all have a good weekend. Again, like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Now I got to go run and turn my camera off.